stream. I do these every Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern. This is going to be a really special one and a really fun one because this is the kind of Ask Us Anything, Talk About Anything streams. I do these, like I said, Mondays through Fridays. But Friday particularly is usually an Ask Us Anything, let's chat and hang out stream. So let's give it a few minutes. Let's see who joins. As always, we're here to talk about Freemasonry. So any comments, thoughts, ideas you have on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral, I hope that you will let me know what those might be. Anything you want to talk about. If you are a Freemason, let me know your experiences, how they are going, how your experiences in Freemasonry are. If you're not a Freemason, no worries at all. Maybe you have questions. I can do my best to try to answer them. So let's give it a bit of time to see the audience that shows up. Yesterday, my live stream was a discussion on 3 questions I would ask to Prime Minister Mark Carney. Not related even so much to Freemasonry per se, but rather related to civil society, architecture preservation, all of which applies to Freemasonry 100%. And I'm going to be doing a Medium story about the same shortly. So follow us on Medium for that. In the meantime, take a moment, jump in the chat, say hello, let me know how you guys are doing and what it is that you guys want to talk about. It was a great night last night, a great official visit. So ask us anything. By the way, I have to give a shout out to 311 in Windsor. I had to send in some requests and they've been doing a great job answering them. So little side note, well done 311 Windsor. Meantime though, it's just a matter of waiting to see who joins us, who jumps in the chat, who says hello. Again, these Friday streams are really the Ask Us Anything streams. So I don't have any specific topics. Having said that, if there is anything that is, let's say, trending right now, you want to talk about that and how it may be related to or affect Freemasonry, by all means, let me know. You know, I've always said Freemasons, in terms of what it means for our lodges and our order, we need to care about what's happening in the world. We need to care about economic situations. We need to care about social situations. We need to care about all that stuff, because if we don't care about that because that stuff is going to, what happens outside of a Masonic lodge or body matters, because sooner or later it's going to affect what happens inside of a Masonic lodge or body. It's kind of like I always say, Freemasons, you cannot separate the success of a Masonic body from the success of the communities in which it is located. And I truly believe that. Welcome. If you are just joining us, thank you so much for being here. I hope you'll hit that like button and subscribe button, please. My name is Cameron Adamson. I'm doing this live stream to talk about Freemasonry. I do these streams every Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern. Today's stream, it is our Ask Us Anything stream. So anything you guys want to talk about, I hope that you will jump in the chat, say hello, and let me know any questions you have about Freemasonry, any thoughts you have about Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral. I'd love to hear them. If you are a Freemason, I'd love to learn about your story. And if you're not, man, you have questions though, I'd love to hear what those questions are. And thank you everybody who has joined us so far. As always, please take a moment, jump in the chat, say hello, and let me know how it's going. As always, this is the Ask Us Anything portion. Well, YDX, I hope not. And thank you everybody who is here on the stream so far. Gareth, hey, welcome back. It's been a little while since you've been on one of our streams. Thank you so much for being here. And if you got to go in a minute, that's no worries. It's still great to have you here, even if it's for a short period of time. I hope that you are doing well. The French King, welcome back, the French King. Marie Sophia, hello, Mate. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I'm not, I'm very sorry. I do hope you will hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know if you have any questions about Freemasonry. I'd love to hear what they are, or thoughts on Freemasonry. Positive, negative, neutral. Halito equals hello in Choctaw. Very cool. So it's wonderful. We're still learning more about Choctaw Nation. And like I said, I hope you keep us informed as to your progress. I do not know what Virat Kohli is, or Virat Kohli, and why he is or is not king. But welcome nonetheless. I do hope you will take a moment to hit that like and subscribe button, please. And thank you so much. This is, as I said, our Ask Us Anything stream. So any questions or comments you have as it relates to Freemasonry, please jump in the chat and let me know. And I do hope you will hit that like button and subscribe button. Maybe one day, French King, I will do, or Bong, I will do a stream about First Nations and Freemasonry, more so than I've done in the past. And maybe even talk about specifically Choctaw Nation and Freemasonry, because you know, I'm sure there are some really specific and interesting connections between the Choctaw Nation specifically and Freemasonry. So I think it'd be really cool to learn more about that. Well, Travis Head is an Australian cricketer, and I'm not a big fan of cricket. But having said that, I'm sure maybe he's the king of cricket. I'm not even a big fan of well, I love Australia. I've never been there. I actually do want to do a podcast one day about Freemasonry in Australia, because unfortunately it's not something I've been able to do. Yeah, I heard about that. That it was the 80th anniversary of the liberation of the Netherlands. So I thought it might be. I didn't get to catch any of the info because I was busy at the Masonic Temple all day, so I did not get the chance to do so. But or follow the news on it. But I heard about it, so. So Virat Kohli is an Indian cricketer. We gotta. So are you a cricket fan? Is that what's happening? I hope everybody is doing well. Once again, please take a moment, hit that like button, hit subscribe button. Let me know how it's going and what it is, as always, that you guys want to talk about. Any thoughts you have, positive, negative, or neutral on Freemasonry, or honestly anything else you kind of want to discuss. I'd love to hear it. Don't forget, if you, like me, love scary movies, on my personal channel tomorrow at midnight, I am having a midnight movie watch along with we're watching Leprechaun on Tubi, which is, in my opinion, a great movie if you are a fan of scary movies. But it's a great movie if you are new to the horror genre but want to get into it. YDX Pro, I'm not sure what is going on or why you want me to search all these people, but there seems to be a lot of spamming of the messaging going on. Having said that, I guess Virat Kohli is a cricketer. Was he a Freemason as well? Could be. Let's see. Which I cannot imagine. I cannot imagine having to last like 5 days in some type of game. Very impressive, I would say, but you know, I think Masonic meetings can last a long time. Never played any games. I've never played any game that lasted 5 days. I would get exhausted very quickly. Probably not. I think my dad just joins us for these chats. He doesn't join for other chats. Welcome. If you are just joining us, please take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know how you guys are doing and if there's anything that you guys want to chat about when it comes to Freemasonry. This again is this is the Ask Us Anything stream on Fridays. I tend not to have specific topics. Rather, it's just seeing what people want to chat about and what people want to talk about. And again, it doesn't have to be about Freemasonry per se. It can kind of be about anything. Although, obviously, for me, so much of what I think about is tied to Freemasonry. I had a great day yesterday, great night at the official visit for Harmony Lodge, and a great day today as well or I will have a great day today because we have our Warden's Night. I heard about that. That's really cool, Dad. So I think that's awesome. Apathy. He's a Mason, right? He's a rapper who's also a Mason. Courtney, who is often on these streams, mentioned his name to me before. So I was thinking it might be kind of fun to see if I could have him on the podcast at some point. I think that could be really, really fun. There's a few Masonic artists out there. Brad Paisley is one. So, like I said, it's really interesting to see because there are a ton of Masonic rappers, genre artists. Maybe one day we'll get some of them to perform at the Windsor Masonic Temple. I think that would be really cool. I used to have a list off the top of my head of famous Masonic musicians. I can't think of them now. Brad Paisley is always one that comes to mind first, but let me just see. Robbie D, welcome Robbie D. I hope you'll hit the like and subscribe button, please. That would truly appreciate it. Jay-Z is definitely not, well, I shouldn't say definitely. Let me see. Maybe he became one actually since the last time I checked. Because I remember somebody bringing up that to me before that he was a Freemason. Prince Hall? Yes, I think Lionel Richie is. There's some weird thing on YouTube about it. I've seen pictures, but maybe they are photoshopped. Well, also, like, what would be the are the pictures of him with, let's say, a square and and compasses ring, or an apron? Maybe. I see one picture of him in a group of men, and it looks like they're Prince Hall Masons, but it might have been an event open to the public. I don't know. So I'm not sure. I had always heard he wasn't, but in a lodge uniform, sitting down, black and white checkered floor. See, I see one picture of him sitting with a group of what looks like Prince Hall Masons, but there's a picture of Jay-Z at an alleged Prince Hall funeral. So again, he might have been there for the funeral if he knew the gentleman who passed away. But that doesn't necessarily mean he is. Well, I don't know. I'm curious, so what I'm going to do is type in Freemason musicians and see which ones come up. I used to have a list. Rick Wakeman, Duke Ellington, John Philip Sousa, Nat King Cole, Count Basie, Louis Armstrong, Mozart, Glenn Miller, yeah, that's a picture I saw too. But again, he doesn't, I don't see any regalia on him. It's not a guarantee to me necessarily that he was himself a Mason. So let's see, in terms of musicians who were Freemasons, Mozart, Beethoven, at least we know, Louis Armstrong, Nat King Cole, John Entwistle of The Who, Phil Collins of Genesis, that's cool, Phil Collins, Brad Paisley, Tom DeLonge, and Apathy, member of Coastal Lodge number 57 in Stonington, Connecticut. No official lodge or relevant source of first membership pertains to the Masonic Lodge. Yeah, I'm going with the same thing. My rule with it is if I hear somebody's a Mason, usually I want to know if either they said they're a Mason or not, and also if there's any records anywhere confirming it. Because even if they say they're a Mason, they could be not a Mason or join a clandestine lodge. Yeah, no, Phil Collins, I did know Robbie D. I did know that he was a Mason. I'd heard that before, so that is really cool. It's like everything else, right? Like, there's a lot of Freemasons out there, not as many as there used to be, unfortunately. And they're going to be in different professions. Some of them are going to be musicians, some are plumbers, some are custodians, some are police officers, some are CEOs, some are firemen or firefighters. You know, we span the different professions. A lot of artists affiliated with Masonic adjacent, they could be, although there's a lot less of those in 2025 than there was even a few years ago, for various reasons, right? There's Masonic numbers go down, Masonic affiliated organizations go down, or some of them may be clandestine or whatever it might be, right? There's not really a lot of affiliated Masonic groups anymore, at least not directly. Like you could argue the Odd Fellows is one. French King says all walks of life, which is absolutely the case. And that's one of the things I love about Freemasonry, the fact that in a lodge you will have men, of all different, and again women, because there are women Masonic lodges, of all different backgrounds, and that includes religious backgrounds, that includes political backgrounds, as well as economic backgrounds, the type of jobs that they have, the type of work that they do. I think that's one of the better or best parts about being a Freemason is the variety of backgrounds and walks of life and diversity present within a lodge. I know that a lot of times the phrase, diversity is our strength, people tend to roll their eyes at that for various reasons. But I think sometimes diversity is a strength, or diversity certainly can be a strength. David Bowie was deeply involved with I don't know what the Golden Dawn is. What I do know is David Bowie was in Labyrinth, which is one of the best movies of all time. So, the Goblin King can do no wrong. The Golden Dawn, or Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, was a magical society founded in London in 1888 that focused on studying and practicing occultism, especially Hermeticism and metaphysics. It was a hierarchical organization with members progressing through various degrees of initiation. The order ceased to exist under that name in 1903, but two spin-off groups were created, the Stella Matutina and the Alpha it Omega. Interesting. Masonic adjacent. Yeah, well, I mean, almost any fraternal order or just social or civic group would probably be Masonic adjacent just because Freemasonry was so popular and so ubiquitous, in the in from like 1870 through to 1950s that a lot of times they would spin off into adjacent groups, including, I'm sure, Order of Golden Dawn might be a good example of that. Scott Ian of Anthrax is rumored to be a Mason. Okay. Craig Goldie, former Dio guitars. I mean, some people, for whatever reason, who may be Masons, don't like to discuss their Masonic connections or their Masonic affiliations or membership. Some, like me, love to talk about it. So it really just depends on the person and their preferences. And some people aren't Masons but really love the symbolism and the symbols, and so will wear T-shirts and rings and stuff with Masonic symbols on them, even if they themselves are not Freemasons. So you need to keep that in mind as well. That is not uncommon, especially back in the day. A lot of Masons who are older, our grandfathers, great grandfathers, they didn't like to talk about their Masonic connections or their Masonic history, unfortunately. I mean, I guess it was their view. I do think that secrecy probably did more harm than was good overall, because it kind of stopped, I think, some younger men from joining or being interested in, because it was kept so secretive. But everybody kind of had their own way and approach to these things. So yeah, I agree with that. And I think it not even exposure. I would say it gave Freemasonry less relevance. And relevance is, in my opinion, the magic word. It's what we as Freemasons need to always be pushing for. Because if we aren't relevant in the lives of our membership or in the lives of the community, in communities in which we're located, in which Freemasons are located, it's going to be harder to grow membership or get our members to be engaged. I agree. Out of sight, out of mind is a dangerous precedent in Freemasonry, though it does exist. If people don't know a Masonic symbol while looking at it, they won't think anything of it. I agree. They may like the symbol. They may think the symbol looks cool, but they're not going to equate it with Freemasonry, nor understand why Freemasonry is so important. So no, I agree with you 100% on that one. It depends what time period you're talking about. The idea of Freemasonry being secretive, because there are many times when honestly it wasn't secretive. The secretive nature of it is kind of a more modern-ish invention in the 60s moving forward. In the 1920s, even before that, Freemasonry was relatively well known. I mean, when Masonic buildings were being built, um, it was like a big deal. If you had a Masonic temple being built, you had tons of people showing up to watch it being built. You had Masons giving public speeches. You would have Masons in the newspaper, congratulations, so and so on being elected worshipful master of the lodge. So it kind of, I would say, the idea of Freemasonry as being secretive, it really is more of a 50s, 60s, especially, and onward kind of a thing. Um, it was never really as secretive, in my opinion, back in certainly in the 1920s. It wasn't nearly as secretive, and before then, um, like with hip hop, a lot of street organizations that were instrumental in establishing an art form of pattern themselves using the use of masonry. Welcome back. Name a I hope I pronounced this correctly, Namgel. I do believe you were here before, so it's great to have you back. As previously noted, if you're looking for me, the best way to find me is to hit the like button, and more importantly, to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. And then whenever I do a live stream, you'll see the notifications pop up. But I hope that you are doing well. As always, I hope everybody watching this is doing well also. And it's patterns. Yeah, I mean, so many groups have a pattern of engaging with Freemasonry. I mean, I did a live stream a few weeks ago about Freemasonry and agricultural societies. I mean, the Free Gardeners, as well as the Young Farmers of America, as well as another group, and I can't think of the name now. Those are agricultural groups, and they all kind of established themselves using ideas from Freemasonry, and in many cases, their founding members were themselves Freemasons. The first four founders, the original founders of the Agricultural Society of Young Farmers, were all Freemasons. So, like, I'm trying to find the name now. It's Young Farmers of America, I do believe. And welcome if you're just joining us. I hope that you will be so kind as to hit that like and subscribe button. Let's see if I can find the name now. Future Farmers of America, that's what it is. The Future Farmers of America were founded by Freemasons, as was the Free Gardeners. I'm not going to search him, Namyal, because I know who he is. And, you know, I am not particularly interested in discussing that fella. Other than to say he himself was actually not a fan of Freemasonry at all. And many Freemasons ended up in concentration camps. In one case, there was 7 Freemasons actually created or formed a Masonic lodge in a concentration camp, to their credit. Yeah, well, most organizations are trying to, like most Masonic bodies, Grand Lodges, are really encouraging their groups to move away from the term Masonic Temple to describe the buildings in which they are located. They much prefer, we use a term like hall or center, or, you know, Masonic Convention Center, Masonic space even, because for many people, the term temple has religious connotations. And obviously Freemasonry is not a religion. So certainly California, many other places try to encourage Masonic buildings to not use the term Masonic Temple, but instead use the term Masonic Hall, Masonic Center, Masonic Space. Right, that is something very common that you see. And I tend to agree with it. I think if you have a building like Detroit Masonic Temple that's been around for, you know, over 100 years, or at least close to 100 years now, everybody knows it as the Detroit Masonic Temple or the Masonic. There's no point in changing the name at this point. But if you're building a new building or newer building, or your building is relatively young, I think it makes sense to name it something that doesn't include the term temple, just so people understand that it's not a religious space or religious organization. Um, Rondo Ellsworth, I agree, although I just YDX, I put him in timeout, so we'll see if he calms down a little bit, because I don't want to search cricket players. Welcome, by the way, if you are just joining us, thank you so much for being here. I hope you will jump in the chat and say hello. Let me know how you're doing and any questions, thoughts, comments you have about Freemasonry. Positive, negative, neutral. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Well, I mean, I do these streams every Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Mondays through Thursday, I usually have specific topics that I address, whereas on Fridays, it's more of an Ask Us Anything kind of a stream, which I always enjoy doing and seeing who's going to join us. So sometimes what I try to do is go on to like social media, see what's trending, pick those as topics. I also ask my Patreons if they have any topics that they want to see discussed, or just the audience in general. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know. Well, sometimes people can be interesting sometimes, put it that way, especially on social media. Although in real life, I suppose people can be pretty interesting as well. I hope everybody, though, is doing well. If you've just joined us, I've had a great couple of days. Yesterday was an awesome official visit at Border. Yeah, it's a very true statement. People are interesting. I had a very fun official visit at Harmony Lodge. Today, I've got a Warden's Night in Windsor Lodge. Before that, I had a great time in Chicago, and then before that, I had a great time in Winnipeg. And before that, I had a great time in Toronto. So it's been a really fun, really fun few days. I was at a historical society in Glenview, basically Chicago, where, one thing I was talking about yesterday, and I may do a podcast about this, is the importance of connecting our Masonic bodies with local historical societies, because we have got a ton of very valuable resources in our Masonic buildings that would be of great benefit to historical societies, or at least of great interest to historical societies. By the same token, historical societies have a lot of great information about Freemasonry in local communities that Masons could benefit from. And so taking the time to try to connect those two groups together, I think, is going to be incredibly important and incredibly valuable. I've got also my weekend live stream, which I hope everybody will be checking out. Midnight on Saturday, May 3rd, going to be watching some scary movies. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then I'll be back with more live streams starting on Monday. Welcome. I mean, interesting enough, I do want to learn more about Freemasonry in Thailand, as well as Freemasonry in Asia, because that is something, unfortunately, and I'm sad to say, I know very little about. I wish I knew more about Freemasonry in Thailand. I understand in some places, or in Freemasonry in Asia more in general. I understand in many cases, many parts of Asia, Freemasonry is actually very, very popular. Like the Philippines, for example. So I'd love to learn more about it, and maybe get the chance to actually visit some of these lodges or some of these Masonic bodies. And Thailand is without question on the list. Well, Freemasons should be, all Freemasons should be born under a wandering star. We should be travelers. Have I ever had the desire to establish your own organization? Um, I mean, well, I guess yeah, because you said other than scoring compass promotions. I mean, if there was a way that I could do so and not take time away from Freemasonry, I suppose. But if I were to even if I were to create one, anybody who joins it would be one person who could not then potentially or not then potentially join Freemasonry. So it's tough because you want to build something, but you also want to build something that supports the kind of the cause, right? So it's tough to necessarily know. But I think sure, why not, right? If I feel like there's a way to grow, if I could create an organization that would grow or help us in Freemasonry, then I'd love to. Bhutan has 8,000 soldiers. I wonder how many Freemasons Bhutan has. Let's check. Bhutan Freemasons. Dun, dun, dun. Trying to see. According to, let's see. According to Wikipedia, are there Freemasons in Bhutan? Looks like I can't find out, but it'd be really interesting to learn if there were, in fact, Freemasons in Bhutan. I'd love to check that out one day and learn more about that. So, also, I'm thinking about still streaming on Twitch again, or trying to stream on Twitch. Population 768,385 in 2023. Yes, I heard. I didn't hear his degree, but I had heard that Lionel Richie was a Freemason as well. I mean, part of me does really wish that musicians who were Freemasons would spend more time talking about their Freemasonry. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, if you have a platform that big, um, and that, especially you're a famous musician, taking some time to talk about Freemasonry would help the craft out a lot. And one thing I always try to do is whenever we have new acts showing up to the Masonic Temple, showing new acts like stars or whatever, musicians, comedians showing up at Caesar's Windsor here in Caesar, I always try my best to get in touch with their management to invite them to take a tour of the Windsor Masonic Temple. But usually doesn't work, but it's still worth the effort, right? Sometimes trying to leverage the fame of either famous Masons or famous people for our buildings, I think is a really, really good and valuable thing and could be very helpful. We got Spirit. Welcome, Spirit. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you are doing well. Um, it's great to have you back. He may have. I mean, 33rd, you can't, it's not like other degrees, right? You have to be invited. You can't take the degree the way you take other degrees. So Um, yeah, it's one of those things where um, usually, and I don't know how old Lionel Richie is. Let me just check. I'm curious. Lionel Richie is 75 years old, so I think that's pretty common for most 33rds. I think tend to get the 33rd degree in and around their 70s. So Richie, it doesn't say Richie's a Freemason. I'm trying to figure out which lodge he might be a part of. Mildly curious. Lodge Devotion 723, it looks like. He's an Alabama Mason. So Lewis Adams Lodge number 67, initiated in 2008. Interesting. In season 2, episode 5 of NBC's Who Do You Think You Are? Richie goes in search of his ancestors. His great grandfather, J. Lewis Brown, was a principal organizer and supreme grand archon of the Knights of Wise Men, a fraternal organization for black men in the post Civil War period. Formed in Nashville in 1879, it was a fraternal insurance and burial benefit society, as were so many others during that period. So a safety net, basically. In the show, Richie meets with Dr. Corey D.B. Walker, Associate Professor of African Studies at Brown University at a Nashville Prince Hall Masonic Lodge, who shows him a copy of the rules and ritual of the three-degree order written by his great-grandfather. Walker tells Richie that by 1882, the Wise Men grew to some 278 lodges in a brief period of time. Chattanooga newspapers from 1891 revealed the order was financially strapped by a smallpox epidemic that required massive payouts. Interesting. I have heard of the Commodores. Yeah, that was um, right. Lionel Richie was a member of them, and then he released his solo album by 1980 something, 1982. Raised Eyebrow is back. Hello, good afternoon to you as well. I hope that you are doing well. I hope you're having a good weekend or planning to have a good weekend. Um, I hope everybody is doing well. As always, I will be back doing more live streams next week. I'm going to be looking at and thinking of some different topics I maybe want to explore next week. Once I know, I'll post them on social media. And don't forget about this weekend, Saturday midnight, I'm going to be hosting our another live stream midnight movie watch along. Uh, Zonka is the national language of Bhutan, which I don't know what, you don't know, from where it's descended, or it's a Tibetan Burman language, official national language of Bhutan. It is written using the Tibetan script. Interesting. So I hope everybody who is watching is doing well. As always, I hope that you'll take a moment to hit the like button and the subscribe button if you're just joining us. it would be, like I said, I searched. I could not find any information about Masonic lodges in Bhutan or Freemasonry in Bhutan. I'd be really curious to know if there was any. It went really, really well. It was a lot of fun. It was a longer night, but we had two really great presentations, including one about Demolay and some of their rituals, which was really special. And then me and our brother who visited did a presentation on our trip to Winnipeg for the 150th anniversary of the Grand Lodge of Manitoba. So both of those were really, really special presentations, and it was just a lot of fun. Uh, Not actually relatively quick for an official visit, also, probably maybe a couple of hours, which normally, well, but probably an hour and a half. And normally, in some cases, official visits can last much, much longer. They had a great, some great ritual work, which is important. It's part of what you want to focus on when you are doing an official visit, right? You have to show your proficiency both in, at least in Ontario, but I'm going to assume kind of every jurisdiction. You want to focus on demonstrating both your proficiency when it goes to running a business meeting and handling your business and motions, and your proficiency at ritual. Both are equally important. Um, but I hope, as always, everybody is having a great day. And yeah, I will be doing, like I said, this weekend I have my midnight live stream. However, next weekend, 1 p.m., we'll be back. And maybe next weekend I'm going to see about doing a longer live stream. Usually these streams last anywhere from 2 to 3 hours. Today's going to be shorter because I do have to get ready for tonight's Warden's Night meeting. But then next next week, I do have a little bit more time, so hopefully I can do a longer stream. We'll pick a few different topics to discuss, and we'll kind of go from there. I hope everybody, by the way, is doing well. Yes, Rondo, that's a good way to put it. An official visit really is, an inspection is a good way to describe it. It is, and so I'm speaking from the Ontario perspective, because every jurisdiction is a little bit different. Though in my experience, this is pretty common and pretty much the same thing wherever you travel in Freemasonry. Once a year, uh, you hold what's called an official visit, which is a time for um, a time for your local Masonic leadership to visit your lodge. And first, they make sure that your accounts and your paperwork is up to date. So your minutes are up to date, your um, accounts are up to date, your record keeping is proper. They also make sure you have completed all of the necessary paperwork and submitted it. So do you have, is your lodge properly insured? Do you have, is your building up to standard? Do you have all the necessary books and constitutions and things like that that you need? Um, and then they watch your meeting. And again, they want to confirm A, that you are able to run the business portion of the meeting effectively. And when I say business, I don't mean business in the sense of making money. I mean the administrative tasks of reading correspondence, having motions, things of that nature. And then they want to see that you can do some type of ritual work, whether it be opening in another degree or holding a degree, something that to that effect. So yeah, it's an annual inspection done once a year. Demolay, I think, is on the uptake in many places. It wouldn't surprise me if it was on the back of or due to the Filipino brothers, because Freemasonry is so popular in the Philippines, and I think DMLA is very popular there as well. We have some Filipino brothers here in Windsor who are actually looking at or considering trying to revive DMLA. I understand. Whether it will be successful or not, I don't know, but I wish them all the best, that's for sure. Once again, I hope everybody is doing well and having a great day. Please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. The other thing I am hoping to do is I want to, at some point or another, do another Twitch stream, possibly this weekend. There's a lot of fun things happening this weekend, but yeah, I don't do a ton of stuff on Twitch, and I was thinking it might be a really fun place to go to try to meet new people. First order of business, section of order business. I mean, what I'll say is Masonic Lodge meetings are oftentimes incredibly boring, but that is okay. I've talked about it a bunch of times. The business portions of the meetings, the administrative portions of the meetings, yes, they can be very boring, but that doesn't mean they're not also incredibly important. It's way too easy for Masons to want to think about and focus on the fun stuff and not take the time to think about or focus on the not so fun stuff, but the still vitally important stuff. Like, the fun stuff would be having a banquet or a fancy meal, which is important, but the way you make sure you can have the fancy meals is through, good record keeping, good accounts keeping track of your minutes so you know who's organizing the meal, how it's being organized, what has been done, what needs to be done. I mean, the administrative stuff is necessary. And if you don't recognize why it's important, that's when it can become very hard to do anything because you're constantly trying to make up for administrative errors. I hope everybody is doing well. Thank you all so much for being here. I see typo. I didn't see what that was above. But as always, I hope everybody is having a great day. Like I said, I'm going to follow me on social media for all the information I have about what I've been up to, what I will be up to keep track of my streaming schedule, all that good stuff. And if you like scary movies, then by all means, I hope you'll join me tomorrow at midnight, where we're going to watch Leprechaun together on beautiful, wonderful Tubi. Free service. You can watch any scary movies you want. Thank you, everybody who has joined us so far, including everybody who has taken the time to hit that like button and subscribe button. As always, one of the best ways you can support this channel is by hitting like, is by hitting subscribe, is by sharing the stream, all that good stuff. And so, yeah, I hope that you will consider that. In the meantime, jump in the chat, say hello, let me know what it is that you want to chat about when it comes to Freemasonry. These Friday streams really are the Ask Us Anything streams. And honestly, even if not Freemasonry, we can talk about anything else you guys want to chat about as well. I enjoy these streams just for that reason, getting the chance to chat with people about different topics. Oh, I mean, was going to say that's good, but I guess it's never good. But yeah, it was a really very tragic event, obviously, as Freemasonry has so many members from the Philippines and has, and the Philippines are such a supporter of Freemasonry. That includes both in the Philippines itself and as well as Filipino men and families who've traveled supporting Freemasonry in the communities to which they've traveled. Obviously, I think everybody was shocked and disheartened by it, but certainly for some Masons, or for Freemasonry, it was um, particularly heartbreaking. First order of business, yeah, that's a big part of it. Are we holding our business in the proper order, right? That's a big part of it. And again, it doesn't like there's obviously room for wiggle. Not everything has to be, it's not about everything being perfect or done exactly in the same way as everybody else. It's about do you have the basics down? Do you have the ability to, like I said, successfully run a meeting? And there's a lot of different ways a lot of different things that can mean in terms of running a meeting, but a big part of it is, right, the truth is a big part of that is the order of business, the process by which you run a meeting. If you start your meeting with, you know, correspondence, and then do minutes, and then do accounts, and then pass motions, and then do another set of accounts, that's going to be noted, right? Because that meeting is probably going to be less less well managed than if you are one of those things where you know which order to do things in and what makes sense. Well, I'm hoping that this is my job, as well as I do tours and stuff of the Masonic Temple. If you want to support, you can go to patreon.com/square and compass and support us there on Patreon. You can even join for free. Don't have to spend any money. You can just become a member for free, or else you can up to $3 a month or whatever it is. Pick your amount. I hope everybody though. So actually, let me just put the link in the chat. Give me 1 second to head back over to this screen. Let's see. Patreon.com/square and compass. You can hit that link there and support us through Square and Compass promotions on Patreon. I'm sure they did one here as well. I didn't hear about it, but let me see. So BC had a day of mourning for victims of the tragedy. Filipino nurses shaken by Vancouver festival deaths. Memorials grow. So yeah, it looks like there were several different groups that held memorial services, including BC marking it a day of mourning. Welcome. If you are just joining us, please take a moment, hit the like and subscribe button. Oh, here it is. Toronto's Filipino community held a prayer vigil for victims of the attack on Tuesday. That would have been May 30th. Sorry, April 30th, excuse me. I wonder if BC Freemasons mentioned anything about it. Because there's several Masonic lodges in BC, including in Victoria. Let's see if I can find anything over here. No, I don't see anything in here. I'm curious if I check on Twitter if there's anything that any Freemasons commented. It was, let's see. Lapu-Lapu was a heroic Filipino who cut short Ferdinand Magellan's bid to circumnavigate the Earth all in one trip. He was a tough dude. Welcome. If you are just joining us, please take a moment to, if you can, hit that like button and subscribe button. Let me know how you're doing. This is my Monday through Friday. So this is the Friday live stream, 1 p.m. Eastern, where we talk about Freemasonry. Although in this case, it is anything we want to discuss when it comes to Freemasonry. Positive, negative, neutral. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Well, there is a Dadu Lapu-Lapu Lodge number 347, a blue lodge of Freemasonic Masons under the Most Worshipful Grand Lodge of the Philippines. Set a meeting first Thursday of the month at 6 p.m. Yeah. I'm going to give them a like, maybe. Would let me. By the way, I've been saying this a lot lately, but everybody who is watching, please don't forget, you can join us on the, or hit the like and subscribe button, and also follow us on all of our other social media channels. Because we've been lucky enough, I'm lucky enough to have several social media channels where I post about Freemasonry, and I love doing it. So if you get the chance, I hope that you will follow us on those channels as well. Good afternoon, Leonardo. Welcome back. It's good to have you join us once again. I hope that you are doing well. I hope you hit that like button. Yes, I heard about that. I mean, what Dad was saying doesn't surprise me. Obviously, it was pretty. I mean, occupation and war is always gonna suck, right? So, but particularly, I think that occupation was particularly brutal, and I'm sure there's a lot of. I mean, even growing up, I remember hearing stories about it, and there's a lot of kind of the Canadians and people from Netherlands have a very close relationship because of what Canadian soldiers did to protect or to free the people of the Netherlands. I'm glad that things are going well, Leonardo. I hope that you are looking forward to the weekend. I don't know any plans for the weekend, Masonic or otherwise. Nice. Which movie? Minecraft. Okay. See, I've never got super into video games. And so I don't know almost anything about Minecraft except everybody is square, which I don't understand. I don't even understand necessarily what you're trying to do um, in a in Minecraft, like build houses or something. I mean, it feels very Masonic in the fact that everything is, square, and you're building things. But I'm not gonna lie, I don't really get it. I wonder if other people have done that as well. That would be a fun thing to talk about. Masonic temples in Minecraft, because I've heard of people doing that, I think. I'm gonna check this out now. Masonic temples in Minecraft. Well, when you go to images, we have Joey's Masonic Temple interior, Masonic Temple on Minecraft on Reddit, built a lodge room in Minecraft today. Looks like several cats have been building Masonic temples in Minecraft. Maybe one day if you could send me a picture of it. You could tag me on Instagram. If you could send a picture, I'd love to see it. Square and Compass, Instagram.com/Square and Compass Promotions. Yes, I remember hearing about that story in school. On Remembrance Day, they would talk about those type of stories. And I think when I lived in Ottawa, I heard the same, not story, but I heard the same bit of information again. So that was really cool. That was good of them to do that. Again, people can be pretty great sometimes. They can be terrible more often than not, but sometimes there are good stories like that as well, which we don't ever want to forget about. By the way, Dad, yesterday we had our official visit, and one thing we did is presented on our trip to Winnipeg, and myself and my brother, and we talked not just about the trip to Winnipeg, but thanked you for letting us stay at your place, talked about the funny sleeping arrangements. But no, it was a lot of fun. So, yeah, we had a great presentation and we really enjoyed talking. Thank you for letting us crash there because it really helped us. If we couldn't do that, the lodge wouldn't have been able to assist with it because we would have had to get a hotel and the expenses would have just been much higher. So, and thank you, Leonardo. Like I said, send it to me through Instagram. You can tag me in it, or you can send it to me via picture by going to squareandcompass.ca/contact. And you can send it to me via email, via an attachment. And in the meantime, I hope everybody is doing well. Thank you, everybody, for being here. As always, please hit that like button and subscribe button. This stream is going to be shorter because I still need to prepare for tonight and for our Warden's Night, which is where wardens from across the district will gather together to put on a degree. I've got a bit of work I have to do myself with that, so it's going to be really fun. I'm looking forward to it. There you go. You learned something new. So anytime you learn something new, um, it's always going to be well worth it, in my humble opinion. Right? Well, they always say make a daily advancement in Masonic knowledge, which we should always want to do. But we should also try to make a daily advancement in just knowledge in general, Masonic or otherwise. I think, we got these big brains, so why not try to use them if we can? I mean, I try to use my brain as little as possible, but that's a whole other can of tuna. All right, but I do hope everybody's having, as I was saying, a great day. Like I said, I do still have to get ready for tonight. And also, I'm going to start looking at and planning my next week's live stream schedule. I have a few different ideas of things I want to, and some paperwork I got to do. I do have a few different ideas of things that I want to see proceed. So once I know for sure what those will be, I will let you guys know. Follow me on social media. So yes, well, I'm part of so many different lodges. But of my 3 lodges that I attend in person, because they're in my jurisdiction, Windsor first and third Friday of the month, Harmony first and third Thursday of the month, and at Border Cities is the first Wednesday of the month. Well, 5 months in a year. So, yeah. So it's funny. You're a Freemason when you don't think in terms of like if you say, are you doing anything May, Wednesday, May 7th? My answer is going to be what which day of the week is that and which of the month. So if you tell me that's a Wednesday, I'm going to ask you, is it the first Wednesday of the month, the second Wednesday of the month, the third Wednesday of the month? Like, that's how I think in terms of dates now. I don't think in terms of days of the week. I think in terms of the first of the month, the second of the month, the third of the month. Because that's how Freemasons will organize our calendars. First of the month, second of the month, third of the month, etc., etc. But I hope everybody is doing well. Please take a moment, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let me know in the chat how you're doing. This is our Ask Us Anything stream. I do my live streams Monday through Fridays, but on Friday it is more of a Ask Us Anything stream. Hello, Efreeth. Welcome back. I hope you're doing well as always. Congratulations, Leonardo. I hope that you are having a great. I hope you have a great time at the Royal Arch ceremony. Keep me informed as how it goes. I'd love to know. Efreeth, welcome, Dad. Hopefully, I haven't given up on it yet, though it's tough. Any type of lobbying effort is always going to be incredibly challenging. And so, yeah, anything you can do to help. Thank you, Efreeth. I truly appreciate that. The more people I have joining my Patreon, whether it be as a free member or paid, I still very much appreciate everybody who joins. What is the obsession with... So Chris, welcome. Thank you so much for being here, Chris Castro. I'm not sure if you've been on the stream before. So when you say what is the obsession with light about, I'm not exactly sure what you mean. So, like, in Freemasonry, and I want to make it clear, I speak only for myself. There's a couple different ways and terms in which light is used. Right? The first is people will talk about Masonic lights, and that will mean specifically For example, a Masonic pin, a Masonic bumper sticker, a shirt with square and compasses on it. Light is just a reference to anything that you wear that indicates that you are a Freemason. And so there's that idea of light. But then more in terms of Freemasonry, oftentimes there's kind of this journey, symbolic journey that Freemasons kind of take, the idea of going from darkness to light, which is, Freemasonry as something that sheds light on, hopefully, um, ways to live one's life that is virtuous, when I call it that way. I would just say a better way to live, or a more moral way to live, a better understanding of the world, a better understanding of oneself. Because many groups, not just Freemasonry, kind of use light as a metaphor for growing to better understand something. Um, you know, Receiving the light as an understanding of something, an appreciation for something. In Freemasonry, we have, the greater lights and the lesser lights. And again, that's metaphorically speaking. They're not, well, they're not literally light bulbs, or especially as the greater lights, they're not literally light bulbs. Rather, they're objects that illuminate, symbolic lessons that we are, can then, lessons from which we can grow. So, for example, these square and compasses, which I wonder if you can see them. Like, oftentimes these square and compasses here are called Masonic lights, and again, they're not literally lights, but rather what they are. The square and the compass, they are symbolic lights because they illuminate symbolically a way to live that is hopefully one of fairness, um, one of morality, one of kind of justice, for lack of a better term, one of kindness. So, I mean, it's metaphorical, right? And again, Freemasonry is not unique in any means when it comes to the use of light as a metaphor for acquiring knowledge and the ability to apply that knowledge. Chris, I hope that helped answer your question. And then, again, certain people have written about it. What's his name? Albert Pike wrote about this idea of light as a source of knowledge. Even the ancient Greeks, right? Prometheus, what did he steal from the gods? He stole fire. Why is fire important? A lot of different reasons, one of which is it provides light. So, light has always been a metaphorically important object for almost every group that is attempting to impart any type of moral or spirit or moral or social lesson. How was my trip? My trip was great. It was a lot of fun. It was busy. I did 3 trips kind of all in one. I went to Brampton, Ontario first. Then from there flew to Winnipeg, did Winnipeg for 3 days. Then from there went to Chicago for 2 days. So it was an absolute blast. I love to travel. It's my favorite thing in the world to do. Yeah, well, so, people can use the square and compass in their intended purposes as a way to hopefully grow within their Masonic experiences. Or, sorry, for the intended purpose as a way to build a structure, or they can use it like Freemasons do symbolically to build ourselves and receive lessons on, metaphorical lessons on potentially, ways to live in a manner that is just and true and square. Square conduct is something you hear about. So, as Dad said, light is not only Freemasonry, light is associated with other organizations, which it is. It's a very common, and historically as well, metaphorically. Again, the metaphorical idea of light as being something that illuminates a lesson, or being something that allows you to see a lesson or allows you to grow. I mean, even in nature, light is what allows plants to grow, right? So, you know, we even need light in order to grow. If you put us in a room that was completely dark, we would not do well very long. So, Chris, I hope that helped answer your question. If it didn't, I can try again. But Chris, let me know how you're doing, how you came across your stream. If you can hit that like and subscribe button, I would truly appreciate it. But if not, no worries. It's just great to have you on the stream. I'm just going to give it a few more minutes. I'm just going to see if anybody else jumps on the chat to say hello. Thank you, everybody who's been here so far. It's been an awesome stream as we get ready for our weekend. I hope everybody is going to have a great weekend. I have a Masonic event happening tonight and another one happening tomorrow. So that is going to be, but it's going to be an absolute blast, and I can't wait for it. And again, Efri, thank you for being here. I love the idea of having an architect on the stream. It helps huge to, like I said, Freemasonry, we owe a lot of our, certainly our metaphors, certainly our origins to stonemason guilds. And a big part of that was our Masonic, the architects, right? Because stonemasons, yeah, we can build things out of stone, but we need to work with architects to make sure that what we're building is designed properly, designed to be, aesthetically pleasing as well as structurally sound. So you kind of need both sides of it. I hope everybody is doing well. I will be giving this another, let's say 10 minutes or so. Because like I said, I'd love to do this for longer, but I do have to get ready for my event tonight. If you have any Masonic events happening this weekend, I hope you'll let me know what they are. Let me know how it's been going for you guys. Anything you're excited for, anything that you're looking forward to when it comes to Freemasonry, please let me know. And anything you think I should talk about when it comes to Freemasonry, please let me know that as well. Because I'm always looking for potentially information from, or not information, excuse me, suggestions from the membership, Square and Compass membership, Square and Compass audience, as to what it is that you want me to talk about, or what you want to talk about, I should say. Looking forward to my Mark Master Lodge next Saturday. That is awesome, Leonardo. And if yours is next Saturday, which is the 10th, then let me know on the 13th how it went. I'd love to know. Because, like I said, one of the funner parts of this stream, the more fun parts of this stream, is the fact that I'm able to catch up with so many people who are Masons, who are on their own Masonic journey, and hopefully, learn more about their Masonic journey and how it parallels mine, as well as how it's different from mine. So thank you so much, Leonardo. I appreciate you letting me know. And by the way, I'm going to be doing some Twitch streams as well, so I hope you'll keep those in mind. Thank you so much, Leonardo. I truly, truly appreciate it. So tomorrow I will not be doing a live stream at 1 p.m. as I normally do because I do these Monday through Friday, but I will probably be posting a lot more stuff on YouTube. Sorry, posting a lot more stuff on social media, which I hope you will follow me on, as well as, let me just see, I will be doing a personal live stream tomorrow at midnight, doing a watch along of one of my favorite scary movies, Leprechaun. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. I'll put I'll give you the link to it. Maybe, if I can find it. So this link here should take you to the link for tomorrow's live stream, midnight Eastern Standard Time. And yeah, we'll be doing it then. So that's my personal channel. I don't really talk about Freemasonry much on that channel. I more just talk about anything I'm kind of interested in. I also have Twitch, which I'm planning to stream more on as well. So if you guys will follow me there also. But with that in mind, I believe we're going to be ending this stream today just because, like I said, I still get it ready for what's going to be a really great time tonight. So please take a moment, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I will be, like I said, doing plenty of stuff this weekend, so just follow me on social media to keep up to date with what I've got going on. And with that, thank you guys so much. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. And I look forward to seeing you all on this channel again, Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern. All right, thanks. Oh, Harry, one final question. Why is W pronounced G? I do not know. Why is W pronounced G? All right, I'm going to give my dad a couple seconds to see if he can give me the answer to that question, because I have no idea myself. Why is W pronounced W instead of double V? Well, I mean, I think in fairness, you can write it as two U's together. I think it's just modern times we switched it to make it look more like two V's. I think, I don't know though. Um, Maybe it's just because, I think I've heard people ask that question before. Maybe it's just because people want to make things more difficult than they should, who knows? But thank you guys so much, as always, for joining. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow midnight. Maybe I'll see you on Twitch. Maybe I will just see you react to some of my posts on social media, which are coming very soon. All right, thank you guys so much. Have a great day, and bye for now. For the same reason in German, V sounds like F. I did not know. I don't know how any of this stuff works. I'm not a linguist. I'm just a Freemason and a proud one at that. All right, see you guys later.